Good evening everybody and welcome back to F1 action here on FTRL. It is day 2 of action from Interlagos, Brazil, the penultimate round of season 18, and we have a very good chance of crowning our first champion this season. So 35 laps of racing action ahead of us, but first the small matter of qualifying to get out of the way, and as ever, first one out on track is the land, the myth, the legend that is Dylan. So we will wait for him to get around to the start of the lap, and we'll do a lap on board with the Red Bull man. He's been in good form recently, picked up some solid points results from recent races, getting to the finish. So stark improvement from when he first joined, so it's good to see him improving. And yeah, off the back of what was an absolutely show-stopping race last night in Div 1 around here. Some epic battles, some epic trains as expected. The race win went to Crims, who was just that little bit quicker than everybody yesterday. They couldn't quite hang with him. Able to make it 2 in 2, subbing in for Zumpy last night, but an epic battle between 3 OGs of FTRL. It was Tico, it was Dutch, and it was Ox going at it hammer and tong for pretty much the entire race. And what a battle it was. And so here we go then, a lap on board with Dylan. Across the start finish line we go. DRS is open, then down the hill, apex nicely on the left, quickly flick over to the right using the curb, and then on the power for this long left-hander. Drift over to the right, second DRS zone coming straight at you. We'll see overtakes and re-overtakes in the race. No doubt down to turn 4. Using the curb on exit, and then through the non-existent turn 5. There's an F1 car just flat through there into the double apex, turn 6. Apex once, come back over again. Over to the left then using the curb, and down the gearbox to second for the right-hander. Tuck in nicely, quick short burst up to the left-hander, again hug that inside curb, and then over to the left then for this second tricky slow right-hander in the middle part of this lap. Now the speed starts to build again, dropping down the hill, hug the curb on the left-hand side, over to the right, pick your braking marker, tip in apex, use as much of the red as you dare, and now we start climbing up the hill. The speed starts to build with a fast left-hand kick, the DRS zone coming at you. Stay to the left, hug the pit wall. Decides not to, and across the line, and the first time on a board is a 1 minute 10.3. So solid opening run. Oh, Zero Tau has had an accident at turn 1 and has crashed out qualifying. So we've already got one casualty in this one. So there will not be a lap on the board then for the Alfa Romeo man. What about Alex Pixie? How is he going to get on? He goes across the line of 1.79. So Alex there with a big improvement on the current fastest lap, and he takes provisional pole position. That time's going to start coming thick and fast now though. Across the line, Barcelona goes second fastest on the medium tyre, a 1.80 from him. That's a very solid lap then, as Aaron Trucker goes third, a 1.82. And Brutus Beer, fastest of all, a 1.78. Quickly jumped by Jonesy though, a 1.76, who quickly gets jumped by Michael VN on a 1.74, who in turn gets quickly jumped by Chasing Chubbs on a 1.72. Right, anybody else going to come across the line? Who's coming across the line now? It's Staffordship, is it? It is, and a 1.085 from him then, so on the medium tyre, trying the alternate strategy. Didn't quite work out for him. Now, Captain Chubbs, as he's normally known, is on a different account this time, called Chasing Chubbs. Why he's on a different account? Well, it would appear that he got into a little argument with a small boy on Rocket League, and has had his account banned, so he's now on a makeshift account. So that is why there is a slight name change. Silly boy. What about Zombie then? Ferrari man, back with us this week. Heading towards the line, hugging that inside line nicely, and he goes 8th fastest and a 1.82 for his run, just ahead of Aaron Trucker. Across the line, Callum then going P11. He clips the grass on the outside of 1 and ends up going off at the exit. Barcelona doing another lap than a 1.80, and he's invalidated this run, so he will not be improving this time. First few runs on the board. Everybody heading into the pits. Scuba Steve is back with us. Good to have Scuba Steve back with us. Got himself a new PlayStation after his original one went pop. He's back on track tonight then, currently sitting in P10. Having another one, having done the opening stint on the medium tyre. Now, Last night we saw a number of drivers who started outside the top 10 tried the alternate strategy and it didn't work out for them, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of the drivers stay on the soft tyre, because there was a big split between the top 10, who are the guys on the soft tyre, and the guys who started on either the medium or the hard, and split the pack up, and those who then finished on the soft tyre just weren't really able to get back into contention. It was a great drive from Joe Corboy. He finished P8 last night. He was the highest finisher of those who started on the alternate strategy. A really good race from Joe, fastest lap as well, so solid effort from him. First runs in on the board, so Cats, Iceman and Bossman on outlaps. We'll watch Bossman, who's going to be the first one across the line. He's had a really good turn of form recently, really good to see. Let's see how he gets on. In the chat then we have got Maxi Simon. Good evening, Maxi. When you see me back on track? That's a good question. When I can find somebody to do some commentary, that would be when I'll get back on track. So you never know. You never know. I'm already getting excited about this year's game. Looking at the new cars, it's going to be a very, very good looking season based on the cars that have been launched so far. Good evening, Batman. Day for the win tonight. Yep, that chip at Barcelona, I think, are going to be two exchanging blows around here. Those two have a bit of a competition going on around this track. So it'll be interesting to see if that develops in the race. At the minute, they are sat 7th and 13th. So, not currently troubling the top places, but I expect them to be out again on the soft tyres and be more of a factor come the end of the qualifying. Good evening, Mr. Unsafe McFace. Happy with it. Hope you're feeling better and the dreaded COVID hasn't claimed your life. Boss man across the line goes P8, so drops in between Barcelona and Zombie. What about the two Has cars? Coming to the line first is next Iceman. He goes 5th. Next, he's had a really good run of form recently. A couple of 4th places, just missing out on podiums. What can Nexus Cats do? He's at the bottom of the hill. Away from the apex level, using the curb on exit. Of course, these beautiful yellow, green and white, painted of course after the legendary helmet of Ayrton Senna. To the line then comes Nexus Cats, and he goes 3rd fastest, a 1.75 from Cats, so a really good run from him. Pops himself onto the 2nd row of the grid. And Barcelona on his way out again, as is Daft Chip. So is Brutus Beer. Now Brutus Beer, the man in front of us. No, Zero Tower in the chat saying he's got a slight case of the Rona as well, so that might explain his crash. I fully understand, mate. I had it myself 2 weeks ago, so was allowed out the house again on Monday this week. So yeah, good to be back. Hope it's not kicking your ass too hard. Fingers crossed for a quick recovery then. So who we got on lap? Let's go back with Josie. Josie's validated his lap, so and he was on to improve as well. And then he lost time in the final, so I don't know if he backed out of it then. So as I mentioned, then we have the possibility of crowning our first champion this evening, and that man that could be champion is Mr. Brutus Beer, who we are going to go on board with as he comes round to finish his outlap. So last week then he was narrowly pipped by his nearest title rival, able to claw back a couple of points, but he holds a very, very substantial lead coming into this one then. Of course, he's allowed to start his flying lap. Scuba Steve goes 2nd fastest, a little just behind him. 2.5 Ataris, and there's the Mercedes man, and he's popped himself onto the provisional front now, 174. So our love from Chubbs is still looking very, very decent. So then Brutus Beer leading the standings on 217 points. His nearest rival, Aaron Trucker, is on 172. Quick math tells me that is 28 points plus 17, which is 45 points. Barcelona goes fastest of all. It's a McLaren 1-2. So 45 points is the lead. He needs to be leading by 32 at the end of tonight. And if he does that, he will be champion of season 18, which means that Aaron Trucker needs to outscore him by 13 points. And that is a very big ask, because Brutus Beer has been super consistent this season. His lowest finish was Azerbaijan 13th. Other than that, he's got a 6th, a 1st, 2nd, 8th, 1st, 6th, 2 1sts, and a 5th last time out. Currently P9. However, And he goes up to P8 then, so only a marginal improvement for Brutus. But of course, oh, he's no, not quite. I thought he had the same type of Jonesy there, but not quite. Daft Chip meanwhile has gone 6th fastest, 107.5. He's into the pits. What about Michael Vian then? A bit of a revelation. A couple of podiums in recent races. Didn't have the rub of the green last time. Out at Abu Dhabi. It was a win for Libby after a brave and daring last lap overtake on Barcelona. He's about his lap, so he's probably not going to improve. He's gone board with Iceman. I'm going to pick up Johnny. So made his debut last time out. He was in the Ferrari last week. He's in the Mercedes this week. Had a solid run last night. Was got some decent points. Looks to be a useful addition to the league. Hopefully he'll have a seat for next season. Of course, that now is just 2 races away after tonight. Got one more race next week. Season finale at Bahrain. And season 18 is then consigned to the history books. He rounds the second of those right-handers. Starts dropping down the hill. Chubbs has improved this time, but his teammate has jumped ahead of him. As that was, who was that moving up the order there? I believe that was Alex Pixie. Yeah, he's got ahead of Brutus Beer. So, a minute, Aaron Trucker down in 15th. Brutus down in P9, but that would be more than enough. As Sione goes 13th, he also moves ahead of Aaron Trucker. So, Aaron needs to find a bit of speed around here. It's down the minute. He's on his way into the pits, no doubt. So, I'm not expecting him to improve. Next is Iceman, just gone P7. So, he's jumped up the order. What about next is Katz, his teammate? Marginal improvement in Sector 1. What can you find in the middle? Oh, big slide there as he tries to get the power down. Back end of the car, get on the curbs. Back end stepping out on him. He's still though up in Sector 2. So it didn't cost him all his time. He will not improve his position though if he stays that or maintains that gap. He needs to find some time in the final sector. See him hugging that inside line, stays close to the pit wall. He does improve and comes just 1,000th shy of jumping Michael Vian. So 107.496, Michael Vian on a 107.495. Just missing out there on leapfrogging ahead of him. Bossman, how's he getting on? Here he comes towards the line. DRS wing is open. Does he improve? Not this time. No, he's had a slow lap there, so not sure what's gone on. Meanwhile, just ahead of him is the current pole sitter. Let's see how he's getting on this run. Sector 1, he is up again, so improving his time already. Sector 1. Current running order then is Barcelona from Chasing Chubbs. Scuba Steve in 3rd, Michael Vian 4th, Katz is 5th, Daft Chip is 6th, Iceman is 7th, Jonesy is 8th. Haz and Williams sharing the 3rd and 4th rows. Alex Pixie's 9th, Brutus Beer is P10, Zombie in 11th, Katamise is 12th, Sione is 13th, Aaron Trucker 14th, so he has improved his time marginally. Head of Callum who's 15th, Bossman down in 16th at the minute, and Dylan 17th to Zero Tau, who has crashed out of this session. He will be starting P18. Barcelona, then can he move the goalpost a little bit further? Just over 4 minutes of the session to go. Coming to the line. He's on a 1.17.0. Does he improve? He does. A 1.68. Then from Barcelona, moves 4 tenths clear as Daft Chip goes 3rd. 1.73 for the Williams man. So that prediction of a race win by Macman. For Dave, not necessarily out of the question if he can keep himself in the mix. Scuba Steve, he is very wide, so he will not be improving on this lap. Katamise is on a lap. Let's go find the Alpine. Coming out to turn 4. Yeah, it can be quite energy sappy, can't it? I went back to the gym on Monday and Jesus Christ, I was absolutely pooped afterwards. In fact, I went to the gym the Wednesday where I actually got my positive test, and I felt absolutely knackered having been to the gym, which was probably another sign that I'd got it. So yeah, it can be quite energy sapping. I'm not a fan of being ill, so I'm very glad that I am COVID free. Katowice then 0.3 of a second. Oh, in Sector 2. That will jump him possibly as high as P5 or 6 here. Maybe even P4. Any time in the final sector to be found. Casamis could put himself in the mixer here. He does indeed, goes 4th fastest then. A 1.74 for him. Jumps ahead of Scuba Steve. Pops himself onto the second row. Alongside Daft Chip. What about Captain Chubbs? How's he getting on? He is marginally up in Sector 1, marginally up in Sector 2. Be an improvement, but he needs 4/10 of a second. He was just under a 10th up on his current best. So Barcelona looking very much like the man to beat. Whoever the bridesmaid recently. He's had a run of second places. Chubbs, does he improve? He does at 1.69. He did find some time in that final sector. Comes up just over a 10th shy, but the McLaren's looking like the class of the field in this one. All the drivers then on their way for their final runs. How's Jonesy getting on? He's in Sector 2. Confidence buzzing from a really good run in GT2. You can see him on track tomorrow at GT Sport. Pedaling his Mustang. At the minute though, he's in the Williams and he's 0.2 of a second up. Now this again could also put him around about the second row of the grid. 0.2 of a second would see him jump between Scuba Steve and Casamis. So is there any time in that final sector? So he's gone away from the pit wall and goes 5th fastest then. So comes up just shy of Casamis, but a really good lap from Jonesy. Puts himself onto the third row. Both Williams in the top 5. Solid run from him. Final run starting then. We've got less than a minute and a half to go in this session. The McLaren still sit 1-2. What about Michael Vien? How's he going to get on? Let's see. Down the straight he comes. Sector 1 checkpoint, and he is 0.5 up in Sector 1. That alone could be enough to see him jump all the way to 4th. And so the field super close around here again. As it was last night, there was 1.1 or just under 1.1 seconds covered the entire field in Div 1 last night. That's 1st to 20th. It's a little bit more spread out in this one. Casamis decided he's not going to improve. Back Michael Vien then coming up now to the second sector split point. Chubbs has decided he is not going to improve. Michael Vien is 0.3 of a second up, so Michael Vien on for a big improvement here. This could put him on the second row. This will be 3rd fastest. Is there any time in the final sector for him though? The answer is there is, and he goes 3rd fastest. He jumps ahead of Daft Chip at 1.72. Where is Daft Chip? He's invalidated his run, so he will not be improving. What about Barcelona? He's up again in Sector 1. I'm not expecting massive improvements from him as the Ferrari up the road. Zombie's going to be first across the line. Looks like he's down at this time though. Cat's behind him. Is he going to improve? Coming to the line, currently P8. He improves to P3. 1.71 from Cat. It's a great final run from him. Alex Pixie goes 9th. Iceman stays 10th. What about Brutus Beer? Daft Chip is not going to improve on P5. But Barcelona, he's down now in Sector 2. Stay on board with Brutus then. Aaron Chucker is retired for the session. He's starting P16. It's not very big. Barcelona does improve again. A 1.67 from him this time. So he found a little bit of time in the final sector. I don't think he's under any threat. What about Brutus? What can he do? Oh, I think he had a big wobble there. Or is he out of fuel? I think he's out of fuel, so he's going to start P11 then. So the championship contenders, oh, right in the mix with the pack. Starting 11th and 16th. I don't know why it's giving me chase cam view. That's a terrible view on this game. There we have it then. So Barcelona takes pole position from his teammate Chubbs. The gap 0.238 of a second. That's a big gap. There, Nexus Cat's brilliant qualifier from him. He'll start P3 alongside Michael Vien in the Aston Martin. The Williams share the 3rd row. Jonesy ahead of Daft Chip. Casimir starts P7 alongside Scuba Steve. And then Alex Pixie and Nexus Iceman round out the top 10. They will all start on those soft tyres. Free tyre just goes to championship leader Brutus Beer in 11th. He's alongside Zombie in the Ferrari 12th. Then we've got Callum up in 13th. Great qualifying from him. Sione is 14th. Bossman down in 15th. Aaron Trucker has got a lot to do from P16. Then we've got Dylan and Zero Tau bringing up the rear. He is P18. So qualifying is done. Let's get some race predictions or some podium predictions in the chat, please. Who do we think is going to win this one? Is Brutus going to wrap up the title? Is Barcelona going to be the bridesmaid again? And so the formation lap begins. 36 laps, I said 35 laps, sorry. 36 laps ahead of us then of this tight, twisty, but high speed Interlagos circuit. And your running order is as follows. Get the details up, see what tyres the top, or the guys outside the top 10 are on. We start with Barcelona. He has been the man in form. A run of P2s is tonight the night he's going to break that duck and get the win. We shall see. He's got a break chance there, starting on pole position with his teammate alongside him. McLaren making ground in the Constructors' title. Barcelona and Chubbs then are your front row. Next is Katz, excellent qualifying from the Hasman. He starts P3 right behind those front two. Can he do anything about them on that opening lap? Get in between them, get ahead of them. Katz beyond for a win. Let's see Michael Vien starting P4. Again, a great qualifying from him. He has been a revelation since he's got into Div 2. Filling in for KC. He starts P4. Could he get back on the podium this week? We shall see the Williams boys on the third row. Jonesy, P5, great qualifying from him. He leads his teammate Daft Chip. Oh, Dave on the grass there, trying to get the heat into the tyres, almost dropping it on the out lap. Then Katami starts P7 just behind the two Williams, sharing the fourth row with the returning Scuba Steve in the Mercedes. Alex Pixie, solid qualifying from him, P9, and the second has is P10. Next is Iceman. Outside the top 10, free tyre choice goes to Brutus Beer, who starts P11. He's on the medium tyres, as is the man alongside him on row 6, Zombie in the Ferrari. So both of them on the yellow-walled medium tyre. Callum starts P13 in the AlphaTauri. He's on the soft tyre, as is Sione, who is... Oh, what's gone up ahead of... in the Mercedes, he starts P14. Bossman started P15 on the medium tyre. Alongside him, Aaron Trucker's on the soft tyre. And then we've got Dylan in P17 on the soft tyre. The two Red Bulls down in 16th and 17th. A lot of work for them to do there. And Zero Tau starting at the back. P18, he is on the soft tyre as well. Unsafe in the chat. Liam Lawson for the win. Jan Deruvala for second. And Dennis Hauger for third. It's a good shout. I imagine in the not too distant future that could very well be an F1 podium. They're all looking like very good prospects. Well, here we go then. The lights are on, the revs go up, and we're away. The Brazilian Grand Prix is go for Div 2, and it's a good start from Chubbs. Trying to get alongside his team into one, get the lead. He's got the inside line. They come together. There's contact between the two McLarens. Cat's getting boxed out. Michael Vien gets through. Oh, up in the background, somebody's spinning off. Who was that? It was Alex Pixie. Aston Martin facing the wrong way out of turn 2. Gets going again. He looks to have got away without any visible damage. Hopefully he's able to carry on, but he's got a lot of work to do. But it's Chubbs who jumps into the lead on lap 1. Cat's coming back at Michael Vien for third. Michael Vien down the inside. He takes the position. Kind of looking for a way through into the next corner. Rubbing the back of the car. Ooh, bit of a wiggle from the Haas. Oh, Sion is going backwards. They're changing places with Bossman. And Aaron Trucker trying to make some progress. He's up 2. There is Katami, he's looking racy. Brutus behind him. I say Katami looking racy, he's down 2 positions then. Who was that going a bit wide there? I think it was Scuba Steve. Just looking a little bit twitchy there as they come to the bottom of the hill, but heading up the hill now, right on the back of Daft Chip. Pushing him up the hill. Mercedes man looking very racy here. In position to attack then as they get to turn 1 to the inside. They go 3 wide because Daft Chip's got to run on Jonesy. Scuba Steve has to back out of it. Daft Chip down the inside of his teammate. The Williams switch positions. Oh, Bossman in the pits, and he's got a 5-second penalty for speeding. It's not the ideal opening lap for him. Aaron Trucker's in the pits as well, as is Dylan. So what's gone wrong at the back? Scuba Steve now drags past Jonesy down towards turn 4 and up to P6 he goes. And next is Iceman trying to get through as well. They're now side by side on the run up towards turn 6. All the bump wheels. Josie has the inside though. Iceman's going to try and hang around the outside. They touch. There's a big slide. Catamise has to take avoiding action. So does Brutus. Zombie gets through. There's Callum. Big slide for an exercise. We saw sort of a similar move last night between it was Dylan and Yarham. The same result for the Has then as well. Big slide. Gathers up though. He's going to have very hot tyres for a couple of corners, but just needs to be careful now. That's cost him a load of positions there. Next Iceman. That's a big shame for him. And also in the championship battle, Aaron Truck has had some drama on lap 1 and has had to pit. Fastest lap of the race then goes to the McLaren boys in tandem. First Chubbs, then Barcelona directly behind him, who's now closing back in on his teammate. And those two have got out of DRS range of the third place Michael Bien. So the McLaren boys at the minute are running away to play by themselves. Chubb still leading Barcelona. Michael Bien up into third. Then he's also at DRS range. Next is Katz, who's got Daft Chip behind him. Scuba Steve very close behind him. Sione and Iceman. He's got a yellow flag further around. I think that was Dylan. And Sione then's getting the move done on next Iceman. Through he goes. Runs a bit wide though. Iceman with the switch back. Oh, they touch. Big slide. Sione catches it though. Great job. And survives. But another day that Alex Pixie going past 0 Tau. Recovering after that opening lap spin. He got spat off. Does he have some wing damage? He does have some wing damage then, so Alex Pixie's got wing damage. I think he's going to have to pit really, isn't he? Dylan's had another drama somewhere. There you can see Barcelona, the feather and the throttle let to stay behind his teammate. He doesn't need to overtake into 1 because the chances are you get slipstream straight back past into turn 4. He's going to wait though for the second DRS zone. Is he going to try for the move into turn 4? Yeah, Alex Pixie's in, so his next is Iceman. Don't know if he got any damage from that contact. Despite closing in, not able to get past him, but that feathering of the throttle has allowed Michael Bien to get within DRS range of the two McLarens, so this is now a three-way battle for the lead. Yeah, unsafe there. Let's see if Chubbs can hold his nerve and finally win a race. Yeah, he's well overdue a strong result in this one. He's definitely one of the quickest boys in here. He's also unfortunately one of the most error prone. But maybe tonight is his night. Let's see in the max in the minute. Michael Bien just trying to hang on to that DRS. He's just dropped out again. Okay, we could run up the hill. Answer is no, he can't. And he's closing back in again. Now, did he get DRS? He did. That could be critical. Barcelona's got a big run on his teammate here to the inside. Not going to fight it. Chubbs lets his teammate go. He'll drop back in behind him now. Get the DRS for the second straight and maybe try and come back at him into turn 4, but Barcelona hits the front for the first time since the run down to turn 1 on lap 1. Chubbs dropped a little bit too far back there. I think Barcelona will be safe. I need to be about 3.5 tenths back to be realistic, making a move further back. Daft Chip and next is Katz. Katz covers the inside, Daft Chip down the outside. Katz tries to fight on the inside. They touch, do they? Katz is coming back at him. Daft Chip's got the inside. Katz trying to hang on around the outside. Dave over the curb. And covers the inside. Katz, oh, big send, big send. Backs out of it. Do they touch? A little twitch there. Katz then has a twitch of Scuba Steve. Dives through for P5. I can imagine there's all sort of blue language coming out from that Williams helmet in a minute. And all that battling is that Jonesy and Catamise close right in as well. So this is now a 5-car train for P4. There we go then. And Katz has had a poor run up the hill. Now Jonesy's all over him already. As Katz dropped out of DRS, which I think he might have. Williams then into the slipstream. He's going to the outside line. Where is Katz going to appear from? Anywhere? No, Jonesy decides to stay behind him into the pits. Oh, Katz in the pits. So that's why he's not going to appear. He's in the pits, so he must have got a little bit of damage from that, did he? Yeah, he got some front wing damage from that contact there with Daft Chip, so unfortunately that's Katz's race compromised. Oh, in the background. That Jonesy and Catamise going wide at turn 4. Catamise went down the inside and took them both wide. Gets the move done though. Up to P6 he goes. Brutus Beer still P8. His teammate directly behind him, so the Alpha Tower is circulating together. Really good race from Callum, this one. Definitely his best race so far. Battling with the championship leader. Of course, Brutus is on the medium tyres. So he'll go a bit deeper into this race. He'll be quicker at the end though when he switches over to the soft tyre. Zombie hanging on the back of them as well. You've got Sione behind him in the Mercedes. And then we find Zero Tau battling on despite his bout of COVID. Good job seeing P12. And then we've got the drivers who have been held up so far. Next is Katz in 13th. Then we've got Bossman, Aaron and ex-Iceman all together. Alex Pixie just behind them. And then Dylan has had a bit of a shocker so far, but still plugging away. Barcelona still leads, but Michael Vian now attacking for P2. Not quite close enough this time. Further back, Scuba Steve has got P4 from Daft Chip. And Josie has just gone back past Katowice. Katowice comes back at him into 4 though. So robust overtakers over from Cat that gets through fairly cleanly. He's up then, back into P6. This battle will rage on. And we've got the two AlphaTauris now 8th and 9th. Zombie into the top 10 with Sione right behind him. So some big chains going on once again. Up front though, this battle for 3 is still very much on. Chubbs, despite having to fend off the advances of the Aston Martin, still very much with his teammate. Leaving Marco peaking indeed. Not slow then. Along the start-finish straight he comes. His teammate closing in. His Chubb's going to go for a move into 1. Not quite close enough. Marco Vian just dropping back, but staying in touch. Still got DRS critically. Now Chubbs is a lot closer this time around to his teammate. Are we going to see him move into 4? Come on to the back straight. He's got the DRS to the inside he goes. And the McLarens switch places. Chubbs goes through. Barcelona backs out of it. Lets his teammate go. And up the hill they go. Michael Vian right with them as well. So these 3 are now clear to the tune of 2.7 seconds over Scuba Steve. He's still got Daft Chip in his slipstream. Can he pull these 2 back into contention with those front 3? Further back, Jonesy's got back ahead of Katowice, has stayed ahead of him this time through the middle part of the lap. Good battle there. And we've got this train of cars, Brutus bit, Callum, Zombie, Sione, these 4 circulating together. We saw this last night, a lot of groups of sort of 3s, 4s and 5s. Keeps it interesting for those drivers. Then Iceman, Bossman and Aaron Trucker. So now Iceman out the front of this train. He was at the back last time we checked in. They've all gone onto the medium tyre, but they probably will need to stop again to get them to the end. Alex Pixie down in 17th after his drama. Some wing damage for him, and Dylan still on his way. In P18, Katowice pits then, and I think this is the first of the scheduled stops. We saw last night they went a little bit deeper into the race, so... Ooh, what's this? This is Sione up the inside of Zombie, out of 2 through 3. Got the DRS as well. Zombie hasn't got DRS, so that should be moved on for Sione. That's P9. Zombie relegated to P10 then. Meanwhile, we have had a change again for the lead. Barcelona has retaken the lead from his teammate. Iceman, Bossman. Oh, Bossman going back down the order. I think it's a bit wide through 3. And that's let Aaron Trucker through. Scuba Steve is just taking a couple of tenths out of this battle ahead. It's down to 2.4 seconds, so don't rule these 2 out. If Scuba Steve can get his head down, of course he won at Baku earlier in the season, so he's got race-winning pace about him. Scuba Steve faked the pit entrance there, I think. A little better over than Chubbs right on the back of his teammate again through 3. He's close enough to have a go here. We saw a couple of laps ago he was about this distance back. The DRS to the inside, but drops out the slipstream, so doesn't want to lead the race at the minute. Happy to sit behind them. We've got a... What's happened there? Oh, Zero Tower's gone round. Oh, it's Bossman. And a VSC is being deployed. So we had a couple of these last night. VSC deployed for the spinning Alfa Romeo. He's got going again though, so nullifies the race for the minute. With him getting going again, he's into the pits now, so hopefully we should resume racing action shortly. Now everybody just needs to be careful of their delta. We saw Matt Tibos get a drive-through penalty at the VSC ended last night. Fingers crossed we won't see anybody pick up a penalty and ruin their race tonight. And we are racing again. And Michael Vienne on the attack quickly. Chubb's also closing in on the big lose. That was Scuba Steve. I think he's lost a few tenths there, so he's got a little bit too far back off his delta. And he's lost all that time he'd made up. So it's a shame for the Mercedes man. He's got to do it all over again then. There's Bossman just coming out of the pits. He will go a lap down. So here comes Daft Chip. And he drops in behind. 0.6 of a second cover your top three though on lap 11 of 36. Barcelona still leads from Chubbs. A little bit of a wiggle there. Michael Vienne looking very interested, but no way through. You just have to follow him through this part unless Chubbs goes really wide somewhere. Over one line part of the track unless somebody makes a mistake. And at the minute, these three driving absolutely beautifully. Further back, Cat's making a move on Catamiz. A bit of cat on cat action. Cat's on those fresh, soft tyres. Goes up into P11 then. Catamiz, of course, just out of the pits, having made his pit stop. Oh, and that's a Red Bull getting out of the way. That will be Dylan, I imagine. Nice job, mate. Into the pits comes the race leader. Barcelona is in. Now, we saw the undercut last night was very strong. So, I expect Chubbs and Michael Vienne will want to respond very quickly. We're going to go for fresher tyres then. Away goes the McLaren. And our race leader, and where he's going to come out traffic-wise. There's a couple of cars going through, and then there's nobody. There's a big gap back to Cats there, so he's got a nice gap here, Barcelona. We'll have some clear air. Yeah, so Zombie's gone through. Cats is just coming across the line now. He's going through turn 3, so he will be well clear of the Haas. And that is a nice big gap for him to drive into. So now, do the top two respond this time around? Or do they pray that fresher tyres later in the race will come back to them? I think the sensible thing to do would be to respond immediately. Because at the minute he's going to be taking bags of time out of them. Obviously these tyres are going to be a little bit past their best now. Let's see what happens then. Is Chubbs coming in? He is. Michael Fallenfellows are in. Yep. What about Scuba Steve? Is he in? He is indeed. Daft Chip in as well. Oh, Chubbs has sped in the pit lane. No. Chubbs, you pillock. Bossman sets the fastest lap of the race. Oh, Chubbs. Josie then takes over at the front. He's still going on his teammate in the pit, so he didn't want to double stack. He then leads the race. Brutus being now up to P2. There's Barcelona coming out the second corner on the inside. There's Chubbs and Michael Vienne, and I think he's well clear. There is Barcelona. Watch to the right. There's Chubbs. There's Michael Vienne. So the undercut has worked again supremely. That's a big game for Barcelona. He's got 2 seconds on his teammate. Look at that. Yes, exactly, unsafe. Chubbs, you pleb. Well, that has now spread these three out. So the gap between Barcelona and Chubbs is 2 seconds. The gap between Chubbs and Michael Vienne is 1.4. Big gain in that, Scuba Steve. However, Scuba Steve has gone onto the hard tyre. Now, that is an interesting call. Because he's the only one to do so. Everybody else around him, Barcelona, Chubbs, Michael Vienne, Daft Chip, have all gone onto the mediums. This is Callum. Callum has just pitted. He's now on the medium tyre as well. So a 0 tau. So yeah, the medium tyres were the way I expected them to go. That's a big slide from Scuba Steve. What a save that was. No, now Jonesy speeds at the pit lane as well. Oh no, Jonesy. Barcelona fastest lap of the race, 1:95. That big slide. Oh, Michael Vienne's got a penalty. Track limits. Barcelona goes past Zombie into turn 4. So he's now got a big gap and a car in between himself and his teammate. He now also has a 5-second penalty to his name. Not what Chubbs wanted. Well, podium still very possible. We've got a yellow flag sector 1. It's one of the Red Bulls. I think it's had a drama through turn 2. They've got going again though, and racing has resumed. Running order then, Brutus Beer, championship leader, is your race leader at the moment, and well on the way to wrapping up the title at the minute. Sione is second at the minute, but he's got the the net race leader right behind him. I imagine Sione will be pitting very shortly. Those tyres are 13 laps old now and probably well past their best. And he has the McLaren on fresh rubber right behind him. However, Chubbs has really closed that gap down. Yep, Sione is in. That releases Barcelona because there's Chubbs. Look at how much time Chubbs has taken out of him. And fastest lap of the race from Chubbs. So they're emphasising his pace. He's now going to attack the Ferrari. He'll probably get him on the run down to turn 4. With the DRS, does Zombie have DRS as well? He does not. And we've got a yellow flag. The sector 3. So he's got going again. And Chubbs then clears Zombie. And that gap is down to 1.2 seconds. Michael Vienne has just not had the pace since the pit stops. And he's dropped off the back of Chubbs. So he was right on the back of McLaren's in the first part of the race. Hasn't quite switched those medium tyres on, and now he's got Daft Chip and Scuba Steve bearing down on him. Daft Chip has cleared Scuba Steve. He has a tyre advantage, you would imagine he would do so. Gosh, just can Scuba Steve stay with them? Cat's behind them on the soft tyre, so he'll be pitting again in a few laps' time. But Catamese Jones, he's back out in P10, but he's now also got that penalty. Callum going really well in P11. Great job from Callum. This is definitely his best race so far. And Cats coming back together. They haven't been passed by his name alike. Catamese now very much hanging on to the back of Cats, and as Cats' tyres go away, Catamese is going to start coming back at him. Now, I've just noticed it's got very grey. Now, Brazil is a circuit where the weather can often play a part. So let's see if it's just getting dusky, or do we have rain as a factor to come in the second half of this race. Not quite a half race distance yet. Brutus Beard leading, but he's been very quickly caught by Barcelona, who's got Chubbs honing back in on him as well. Chubbs is not down and out of this one yet, despite the 5-second penalty. Unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do unless he got pushed through the pit lane by Michael Vienne. There's not a lot we can do about that, unfortunately. So if that's all he's then doing, is you have to attack the pit lane here. Unfortunately, in doing so, he did not. Now further back, we've got Scuba Steve on Daft Chip. To the inside goes the Mercedes. Daft Chip goes deep on the brakes, trying to hang on around the outside. He does so. Great job, great defensive work there from Daft Chip across the curb there. That's going to compromise him, but he does have the DRS, does he? He does, they both do. Scuba Steve to the outside, then Daft Chip covers the inside. But yellow flag further back. It was next Iceman, I believe. No, it's Cats. Cats has had a spin at turn 2. Lost out to Catamese and Jonesy. That's a shame for Cats as well. He's had a really good start to this race. Yeah, maybe you're right, Unsi. Maybe he is going onto the hard. The medium tyre would have got to the end. We saw this last night. The guys were pitting at around about lap 10 to 14 off the soft tyre and went to the medium tyre to the end. So the medium tyre would have got them to the end. So maybe he's expecting higher tyre wear, but we shall see. Yellow flag 6 to 3. Oh, Dylan's gone on the straight. Now, is that going to bring in? There's a VSC. So another VSC is out into the pits. I believe Zombie just died. He did. Oh dear. Right in the middle of the track is a Red Bull. That is why we've got a VSC out. Zombie taking this opportunity to pit, so that's a good timing for him because... Or is it good timing for him? He's gone to the hard tyre. So I don't think there's rain coming. He's gone to the hard tyre, which means he's going to the end. And it's too early for a stop for the soft tyre. So he's had to go into the hard tyre, so that's probably compromised what he wanted to do strategy-wise. What penalty? I don't even know what you're on about, Pagani. I see no penalties. Shifty eyes. If anybody asks, I was putting my dinner in the oven when it happened. Race control, DRS re-enabled, and we are racing again. Brutus Beard though, right house, Barcelona right on the back of him, and Chubbs is desperately trying to get within that 1 second. He's now within that 1 second bracket of his teammate again. Now his teammate will get the DRS, and you imagine this will be a fairly straightforward overtake on the AlphaTauri. Here he comes down towards turn 1 to the inside and reclaims the lead of the race. So Barcelona hits the front. Just a bit tiptoeing away through 2. He's going to have the second McLaren very quickly honing in on him here. He does though have DRS to defend with. And he's going to stay ahead of the other McLaren then, so Brutus Beer retains P2. Meanwhile, Michael Vien is having a hard time holding off Daft Chip and Scuba Steve. Just not quite looked at the races as much in this second half since the pit stops. These three then are going to be a good scrap for what will likely be the final step on the podium. Now Chubbs is nearly 5 seconds ahead of Michael Vien, so if he can hang on to that gap, he will not drop any lower than at least P2, because Brutus of course still has the pit. Yeah. I know everyone's saying, car tires in the middle of the straight, VSC will do. And Chubbs then goes past Brutus down the straight this time. Back up into P2, so the McLaren 1-2 has been restored. Now, can he do anything about his teammate again? He's defensive then, trying to stop Brutus coming back at him, which is interesting, because Brutus is on much older tyres. You would expect him not to be stopping again, not to be troubling him too much, to be honest. Look at this battle for P3 in a minute. We'll keep an eye on the times between the top two, but this battle between Michael Vien, Daft Chip and Scuba Steve is really coming alive now. Oh, Scuba Steve's got a penalty on the back of it, so that's not ideal. Just cut too much of that corner. Michael Vien then doing his best to try and hold off Daft Chip. You know, goes really well around here. Oh, big slide there from the Aston Martin. I do love that camera shot where you can see the exit of turn 5. Beautiful camera angle. Down the start finish, we go. Chubbs then has got to within a couple of tenths there, so he's challenging his teammate again. And to turn 1 though, Barcelona will hold the lead. What about this pack here? Scuba Steve switches to the inside, not finding any way through. What about the McLaren battle? Barcelona having to go defensive. Now you'll see that his teammate has a penalty. He won't know whether or not that will be removed or not though, so I think he needs to treat this as a need to win. Michael Vien has held on to P4. Once again, I think Daft Chip at the minute just happy to sit behind the Aston Martin, but I think he looks quicker at this stage. Oh, Daft Chip at the inside, Michael Vien's wide, and Daft Chip with a brilliant move there. Very opportunistic. Through he goes, up into P4. That will be a net podium. So great move there from Michael Vien. On Michael Vien, sorry, by Daft Chip. Daft Chip then into P4. Now how much longer is Brutus Beer going to stay out for? Imagine a couple more laps before he gets to position to go into the soft tyre, but the question is there rain in the air? The McLaren battle is very much alive now though. Scuba Steve meanwhile down the inside of Michael Vien. Through he goes. That's a little bit wide. Is Michael Vien going to be able to come back at him then, but move done for Scuba Steve for now. However, Michael Vien coming back at him. Down towards turn 4. They've both got DRS though. Scuba Steve will get it from Daft Chip, and he will hold on, so Michael Vien slips back then to a net P6 for the moment. It's a net P5 though. Brutus Beer still to pit, but doing a really good job as he looks like he's on his way to claiming this championship. Sione and Zombie going at it again. They were battling earlier in the race, and they have resumed battles next as Katz takes the fastest lap of the race on his fresh medium tyres. So let's have a look then up and down the order. This is the battle for the lead at the minute then. Barcelona still leads. Chubbs though right behind him in the DRS. This is about to open now. Does he fancy moving to 1, or is he going to wait for turn 4? Barcelona going defensive. Chubbs going to have to go the long way around if he wants to, but he's not going to go for it into 1. He's going to wait for his gap. Brutus Beer still to pit. sitting in P3 at the minute. Meanwhile, Scuba Steve going up the inside of Daft Chip into turn 1 and into 4th place. Michael Bien in that battle as well, sitting on the back at the minute though, change for the lead. Meanwhile, Chubbs drafts past into 4 and retakes the lead of the race. Daft Chip then coming back at Scuba Steve down the outside. Scuba Steve drops in behind him. Good battle between these three. Michael Bien though just doesn't seem to have the pace on these medium tyres. He's just dropping away a little bit. Scuba Steve then tucks in behind the Williams and they go up through the hill. P7, we find Catamese in a bit of a lonely gap at the minute for him. 3.6 seconds behind that battling trio ahead of him, and he is 2.1 seconds ahead of Jonesy, who also has a 5-second penalty to his name. However, he is far enough ahead of this battle, which is Zombie and Sione, who are side by side all the way around turns 6 and 7. Zombie staying ahead. 9th and 10th for them at the minute. Callum right at the back of them as well. Callum driving really well in this one. Really impressed with him tonight. Solid job in P11. Then we've got Iceman in P12. He's got Aaron Trucker behind him. Aaron looks like his championship ambitions are going to slip away tonight unless something dramatic happens to Brutus. Alex Pixie never really recovered from that earlier spin. He's 14th next to Katz. Also got damage after a collision or just a bit of contact. Had to change his wing earlier. And we've got Bossman and Zero Tau, 16 17. Not a good day for Alfa Romeo. So that Zombie in the pits. Oh, and he's spent in the pit lane as well. It's not gone well. Right, so McLaren's still circulating 1 and 2. Chubbs still leads his team here, but Barcelona closing in down the run to Zombie's gone onto the intermediates, which suggests there is rain in the air. However, I don't see any rain on track yet. Go on board. Ooh, there is spots of rain. And Zombie's gambled, and you feel that's just too early for I can understand why, but I think that's far too early. The track's definitely not going to be anywhere near wet enough for a couple of laps yet. Now you can understand why Brutus Beer has stayed out. He's now 24 laps on those medium tyres. They must be absolutely disgusting. Scuba Steve very quickly closing in. Daft Chip still on the back of him. Michael Vienna's caught back up again. Now in P7 because Catamese has pitted for soft tyres. Sione's now 8th, been released from that battle with Zombie. Callum now in the top 9. Great job from him. Next is Iceman into the top 10. Got Aaron Trucker behind him, and then the Catamese sending it on the inside of Aaron on those fresh soft tyres. You know, as he gambled on it not getting wet enough, we saw at Portugal earlier in the season the threat of rain was there. Look at how much more grip Catamese has got than anybody around him at the minute. He's scything his way back up the order. Into P10 he goes, ahead of next Iceman, who can now resume his battle with Aaron Trucker. Cats behind them, Zombie. I imagine this is going to look a little bit greasy. Oh dear me, he looks like he's struggling badly. Wet tyres on a dry track. Sprinkle of rain, but not enough. It could have been a master stroke, but I don't think it's going to rain hard enough, early enough for that to come to him. We shall see though. Chubbs continues to lead. Now, he's got enough in hand over Brutus, who's in 3rd, that he can afford to make his pit stop. Or he doesn't need to make his pit stop. Sorry, if he doesn't need to pit, he will still stay in P2. The big problem is though, now, if it's going to rain hard enough, then Barcelona needs to be ahead of Chubbs, because Chubbs will serve his penalty and obviously hold him up. So Barcelona needs to be wary of this if he wants to win this race, because that if these two, the one person you don't want to be battling in this situation is your teammate, especially if he has a penalty, because that would not only compromise him in terms of having to wait for his pit stop for his teammate to make his stop as well, if he then has to serve a 5-second penalty, that would very much bring Brutus, Scuba, Daft Chip and Michael Vienna into the equation again for the win. We shall see. We shall see, though. 27 of 36. Still 9 laps to go, or 9.5 laps to go. In a minute, he's happy to sit behind him. The rain's just sprinkling. It's not wet enough yet. It just makes that Zombie's gamble just hasn't paid off. In fact, the two McLarens are closing up on the Ferrari there. You can see him in the foreground. It was a gamble. I don't think it's paid off. Katowice's gamble looks better at the minute. P10 is closing down on Callum and Sioni. So he could very quickly be back up to P8 and chasing on Jonesy where he was before. Goes through the lapped Alfa Romeo. I believe that one was 0 Tau. Up front, change for the lead. Barcelona hits the front again. Scuba Steve goes past Brutus. Brutus pitted. No, he's just gone past it. Brutus continues on those tyres. He's played the Pagani strategy from Portugal. Stay as long as he dares to see if he needs to go for wet tyres or if he can go to the slick. I feel this is too late now for softs. He's missed his gap. However, I don't think it's going to matter too much because I don't think that Aaron's going to score enough points to take the championship battle to the final round. Katowice goes past Callum. Into the pits comes Nexus Iceman. What's he going on to? Look here, the way the rain's falling at the minute. It's not falling quickly enough. Got to be soft tyres for him, surely. Let's see what he puts on. Closing down on Sioni. It's slicked. It's soft tyres for Iceman, so he's staying on slicks. Daft chip now all over the back of Brutus. There's the luckless Zombie just crawling around, getting out of everybody's way. He gambled. It's not paid off for him. Now Chubbs. What's Chubbs do? Realistically, what Chubbs needs to do here is get the lead back, because if he was to win this race, if he leads his teammate into the pits, if it rains hard enough, then he will hopefully hold his teammate up in the pits, serve his penalty, and then he'll be on his way. Daft chip then going past Scuba Steve, Astos Michael and Brutus Spears decided to pit. I think he's waited long enough. Oh, Zombie sped again, coming into the pit lane. It's getting off those intermediate tyres. It's going to be soft tyres for Brutus. And I think Zombie's realised the error of his ways. He's going onto the soft tyre as well. Oh, and Callum's now sped in the pit lane as well. No, Callum! No. Now, what's Callum going on to? Is he going on to the soft tyre as well? No, he's going to intermediates. Callum's now gone the other way. I still don't know if it's wet enough. On like 29 of 36, the rain's getting heavier, it's getting darker, but still not the right time for the intermediate tyres. I think that's a gamble, that's a wrong gamble from Callum, and that's going to undo all his brilliant work in this race. I fear it could be a masterstroke, it could tip it down any second now, but just don't feel that's the right call. Into the pits goes the Alfa Romeo's boss man. Alex Pixie's gone into the pits for fresh, soft tyres. So McLaren's continue to battle for the lead. Scuba Steve, Daft Chip and Michael Vienne still circulating 3rd, 4th and 5th. Daft Chip in the strongest position without any penalties though. Eichmann has just passed Callum, who's going off the track. He's got no grip, through goes Aaron as well. Yeah, Pagani, they're saying that Brutus should have pitted earlier, so he's come out in, where has he come out? P8, so it's not the worst result in the world for Brutus. And he's right at the back of Katowice. Those two, of course, former teammates many moons ago. But Brutus doesn't need to make any moves. Where he is more than enough. He will be the season 18 Div 2 champion if he finishes where he is now. Aaron Trucker needed to outscore him by 13 points to take it to next week. He is not doing so. In fact, Brutus Beer is outscoring him. That will truly cement his position then. McLaren still battling hard. Barcelona still leading. He must be praying it's not going to get too wet, because there is the risk of a pit stop coming. He needs to be ahead of his teammate when they go in, otherwise he's going to lose out here big time. Definitely, because Chubbs has got a penalty as well. If Chubbs serves that penalty ahead of him. Alex Pixie now onto the intermediate tyres. A couple more drivers go for it. Brutus has passed Katowice for P7 into turn 1. Now there's only 5 laps on Casimi's tyres. Brutus has got 1, so Casimi's tyres will still be fairly good, Nick, but Brutus Beer up to P7. Just emphasising. Alex Pixie's run wide already. I still don't think it's wet enough. Let's go on board, see if there's any spray coming off the tyres yet. No, it's still raining, but not hard enough. There's no spray yet. Sun's still peeking through the clouds. This battle for P3 still rages on as well. Scuba Steve at the head of this. Daft Chip second in the group. Michael Vien third. P3, 4 and 5. Daft Chip has no penalties, so he will leapfrog Scuba Steve ahead of him. Follow Edward Edu22. Oh, welcome. Welcome to my crazy little world. Barcelona still leads. Here comes Chubbs, does he? No, doesn't make the move. Because Chubbs has one race on the road this season. It was the opening round at Silverstone, but oh, Alex Pixie's gone. Oh, he's got in the pits. He's retired at the pit lane. He knew he'd made a mistake. He retires in the pit lane. Oh, it's such a shame for Alex. It was a gamble. It could have paid off. It could have been a stroke of genius. Unfortunately, I think it was just too early for the intermediate tyres. Again, it still doesn't even look wet enough now. And there's Callum. Oh, he did such a good job. He was up in P9. He's gambled on the intermediates. It's the wrong gamble. Now he's just slipping back. Then he's got Bossman and Zombie behind him. And now they're going to be taking chunks of time out of him in the last few laps. Flag sector 1, that's just like Pixie's car coming back out. Here comes Chubbs. To the inside he goes, back into the lead of the race. Oh yes, I touched on the opening round of the season, Silverstone. Captain Chubbs, after a safety car restart, grabbed the lead from Oscar. Why has it stopped his car right in the middle of the road? What is this game? Why is that car there? Yeah, Chubbs led on the final lap, going down the hanger straight. Despite having a penalty, he had quite about 9 seconds worth of penalties that day as well, Chubbs. And yeah, there was a contact at Stowe Corner, span out Oscar, who was on for a race win. Chubbs won on the track. It was KC who ended up winning that day as a result of that. So that's what Barcelona just needs to be aware of. He doesn't need to force this. He can let his teammate finish ahead of him, because I don't think his penalty will be removed under the circumstances if he's just sped in the pit lane on his own. Fortunately, that is on him. Good news for Chubbs is the gap back to third place. Scuba Steve is 9 seconds, so he is more than clear. Just check he doesn't have any other penalties. Nope, he's got 5 seconds plus the fact that Scuba Steve has 3 seconds, so yeah, he is more than safe enough for P2. This battle rages on though. Daft Chip has now dropped back at a second, so he's still got DRS. So he was in the second bracket at the detection line. Look at the gap between Callum and Bossman was 15 seconds when I looked at a lap ago. It's now 3.5. So Bossman is just taking bags of time out of him. That was a gamble from Callum, and unfortunately it's just not paid off for him. Further back, Katz and Sioni going side by side into 1. Katz down the inside. Through he goes. Into P9. Race what could have been for Katz. In that lead battle early on, Brutus Beer goes past Jonesy for P6. So he's making great late progress. So he had a poor qualifying by his own standards, started P11. But he is doing more than enough, and now he is just 2.5 laps away from a season 18 Div 2 title. Chubbs leading this one. It's still a McLaren 1-2. They are well on their way. And now Scuba Steve now is starting to pull away from Daft Chip. So are those medium tyres on Daft Chip's car just starting to go away? Scuba Steve is just starting to inch away. He's out of DRS range. Brutus is 6th ahead of Jonesy. He's had a solid run in P7. Cathaways is 8th. He's made his way back to P8. Can he catch Jonesy before the end? We shall see. Katz is now up to 9th ahead of Sioni. He's had a solid run for a P10. And Trucker just not been at the races today, unfortunately. Tried to keep this championship battle alive, but he's just not had the pace. Struggled in qualifying, down in P16. He's got as high as P11 in this one. He's got the next Iceman behind him. Still yet to be trouble for him. The Bossman now 13th. He's past Callum. They're getting lapped by his teammate. It was a gamble for the intermediate tyres, but it was a wrong one. And Zombie, who also gambled even earlier for the intermediate tyres, he's now recovering. It's P15. It will be his first points of the season, though. He'll finally get off the mark, and 0 out. Solid job carried on, despite being a little bit poorly. So fair play to him, mate. Coming across the line to start the final lap of the race. It's the McLaren pair. Sorry, Oscar. So Chubbs drove brilliantly, but that speeding pit lane penalty is going to cost him what could have been a very brilliant victory. So unless Michael Vienne punted him across the line, unfortunately Chubbs is going to have to settle for being bridesmaid, and Barcelona is finally going to get that victory this season after a run of second places. I think in every race he's competed, he's been either second or the one result where he finished 12th. So he has a very average finish P2 this season. They come through. Oh, what's happened to Daft Chip? He's dropped behind Michael Vienne. Daft Chip's tyre's just gone away. Maybe his tyres are just on their way out a little bit, but up the hill they come then for the final time. They've been in flying formation all race. They've been the class of the field. It's a McLaren 1-2. Barcelona takes the lead. He will cross the line first. He gets his victory finally. Forever the bridesmaid, always the bride. No, oh, no. There's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. It was saying I'm looking for. Finally, though, he gets to be the bride. He is the victor. Chubbs comes home second. Scuba Steve gets third. Daft Chip jumps up to fourth then. So he dropped too far back from Scuba Steve in the end. Great job from Scuba Steve. Michael Vienne finishes fifth. Brutus finishes P6, and with it wraps up the season 18 Div 2 Championship. Congratulations to him. Jonesy comes home P and 7. Catamese is going to cross the line for P8. Jumps Jonesy, in fact, so he goes P7. Cat's spinning across the line in P9. Sione jumps him at the flag. Great job from Sione. Ooh. Next, Iceman and Aaron Trucker dragging to the line. Who's going to win? Next, Iceman just gets there. And then there's chaos on the start-finish straight. Scuba Steve gets driver of the day. Great job from him on his return. It's been a good day for returning Mercedes drivers. We had one last night at Scoob, getting P5 after several weeks out. Scuba Steve gets a podium as well, but your winner finally this season is Barcelona. Congratulations to him. Great drive, great battle between him and his teammate. Chubbs drove brilliantly. Just that one silly little mistake of speeding in the pit lane costs him a win, or at least a shot at the win there. I think that battle might have been a little bit more intense had there not been that penalty hanging over him. Still a P2. Great job for them. Maximum points in the constructors for those two. And Scuba Steve getting P3. Great job from him. Right then, final classifications coming away, and it is Barcelona who wins. Great job from him. Chubbs is second, and point for pole as well. In fact, didn't get the full clean sweep though, because Nexus Cat's got the fastest lap. Scuba Steve, great job from him in P3. Daft Chip settles for P4. Michael Vienne P5, just didn't have the pace in the second half of the race. Unfortunately, fell away from the lead battle, but still solid points for him. Bruce Beer wraps up the title, P6. Congratulations to our champ. Catamese P7, solid drive from him. Got back and past Jonesy P8. Sione in his second start gets P9, and next Cat's P10. Then Iceman 11th, Aaron Trucker 12th, Bossman 13th, Callum 14th, Zombie 15th, and 0 Tau. Final point scorer in 16th. The retirements were Alex Pixie, who went wrong on tyre gamble, and Dylan, who harpooned the wall on the start finish straight. Indeed, Chubbs does win player of the day. Silly boy. Well, there we go then. We have crowned our first champion of Season 18. Congratulations to Brutus Beer. He then wraps up the title, which means that he can go to the Bahrain race next week with no pressure on his shoulders. He can just go out and enjoy himself and go for glory. And that then wraps up the penultimate week of Div 2. Then just one race to go in both divisions. It is Bahrain next week, so please join me at 8 o'clock Tuesday and Wednesday for Div 1 and Div 2 respectively. And we head towards concluding what has been a fantastic season. Another great battle today on track. Some great racing once again. Congratulations to everybody who got to the end of that one. But not the end of action on FTRL this week. Oh, no, no, no. We are back tomorrow. It's GT Sport kicking off its penultimate week as well. Penultimate week not only of the season, but also of the game. We are now just 2 and a bit weeks away from Gran Turismo 7. So the final 2 weeks of GT Sport starting this week with Kyoto Yamagiwa. Starting tomorrow with GT2. Please do join, hopefully Unsafe if he's feeling up to it, and Sean on commentary as they move towards the final 6 races. 3 races tomorrow. And then Friday we are back with GT1 as well. So do join us for that. Looking forward to that. I'm getting stared at by my cats. I think they want feeding. I also have my food in the oven, so I'm hungry. So I'm going to leave you. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't already liked the stream, please do so before you go. That helps us out immensely. And we wrap up the season next week. So please do join us for that. But thank you for this evening for tuning in. And we'll see you again real soon.